After a short break for the off-season, the cycling circus will swing into motion again this January. For many, the 2016 season will start in the summer sunshine of Australia, with over a month's worth of racing to pick from. It's also the first chance for the fans to see many of the riders in the new kits, with riders such as Cavendish, Cadel and Richie Porte all switching teams over the winter. There'll be plenty of racing action at the start of 2016, so let Cyclingnews give you a rundown of what to expect in the Australian road calendar. The Australian calendar kicks off with the Criterium Series, the Mitchelton Bay Cycling Classic, beginning on New Year's Day. The series will follow its traditional format, with the first 2 races taking place in Geelong, while race 3 heads to Port and Williamstown hosts the final day. Riders are awarded points for their finishes, with the rider holding the highest number after race 4 claiming the overall win. The fast courses are suited to sprinters, and young Caleb Ewan took out the 2015 series for the men ahead of Greg Henderson. Chloe Hosking beat Lauren Kitchen to win the women's competition. Orica will headline the men's and women's events again, with local teams such as Drapac and Budget Forklifts also present, among many more. After Mitchelton, the attentions will turn to the National Championships in Ballarat 2 days later. First up will be the time trials, where we can expect to see new BMC teammates Richie Porte and Rohan go head to head in the men's event. Shara Gillow will be looking for a 5th title in the women's event, but she'll have some tough competition from Bridie O'Donnell, who's building up to her hour record attempt later in the month. Both time trial courses feature plenty of undulation to test the riders. In what's been dubbed Super Sunday, the men's and women's road races will take place on the final day. Each race will compete over the same short circuit, with the climb of Buninyong to be tackled in each go-around. Hetta Mullins will be out to defend her title from last year, while men's champion Heinrich Hausler won't be present. The Women's Tour Down Under, or the Santos Women's Tour as it's officially known, has been growing in stature in recent years. While it will remain part of the National Road Series calendar, 2016 marks its first season as a UCI registered race. Beginning on January 16th, the race will take place over 4 days, with 2 road races and 2 criteriums. Valentina Scandalara won last year's event, as Orica AIS dominated the competition. As the women's race wraps up, the men's gets underway at the Adelaide suburb of Prospect. This will be the second event for the men after the People's Choice Criterium a couple of days earlier. The 2 races will be our first chance to see the likes of Ryder Heidel, Kyle Reinen and Mark Renshaw in their new team kits. There'll be some chances for the sprinters, but it's once again a climber's course, with Wollonga Hill likely to decide the race once again. Rohan Dennis and Richie Porte went against each other for the title last year, but with the Australian pair both riding for BMC in 2016, they'll be working together this time. The Cadel Evans Great Ocean Road Race returns for its 2nd edition in January. Named for Australia's first Tour de France winner, the race has been promoted to the 1HC category for 2016. Both men and women will compete over very similar courses, identical to those rode in 2015. The route takes a peloton out from Geelong around the Bellarine Peninsula and back, with the men then completing 3 laps of a short circuit in Geelong. Last year's race ended in a sprint, and Mark Cavendish will be looking to get his road career with Dimension Data off to a winning start. The Herald Sun Tour at the start of February will be the final hurrah of the Australian season. The race often attracts a strong lineup, but it received a boost when the Tour de France champion Chris Froome announced he'd ride. Taking place over 5 days, the race will begin with a short prologue, and over the following stages will bring the riders through the Yarra Valley and over Arthur's Seat southeast of Melbourne. Cameron Meyer won last year's race and will be hoping to defend his title with his new team in 2016. There'll be plenty of racing to see in the opening month of the 2016 season, and remember, head to cyclingnews.com to keep up with all the latest action.